What's going on, everybody? It's Henry Kaminski Jr., your go to guy for restaurant branding and marketing. And today I have another episode for you that is going to help you understand the meat and potatoes of restaurant marketing and unlock the truth about marketing your restaurant and understanding the layers. Because I had an interesting conversation recently and I want to share it with you because it really sparked the inspiration for this episode. So let's dive in, right? So talking to a restaurant owner recently and getting sort of the understanding of where they're at right now with their restaurant's marketing. And when he said to me, we already have a marketing guy that helps us with the marketing of our restaurant. And I said, "Oh, okay, then why are we having this conversation?" He's like, "Well, I don't know what I don't know." Or when I got to discover a little bit more about his restaurant, what I found out was his marketing guy, and I'm air quoting right now, was his videographer. It was a videographer. He wasn't a marketer by any sense of the game. It was a guy that really knew videography really well and created some really nice pieces of video content. And that was it. But this restaurant owner thought that his videographer was his marketing. And it's really easy to make that mistake because this restaurant owner is a restaurant owner. He's an operator. He's not a marketing expert. He knows very little of marketing based on the answers he was giving me and the questions he was asking. And that made me realize, you know what? There's probably more folks out there like him that are thinking one thing, but the reality is completely separate. And I want to break this down for you in today's episode. So as we continue to talk, I realized that when I was using the words marketing, this restaurant owner was associating that word with videos and videos only. He's like, "But we already have all that marketing done. Like, we put videos out every other day." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's one facet. That's one spoke in the wheel of your marketing strategy, your marketing initiative. There are so many different layers of marketing that all sort of have to work together in order to get the results that you're looking for. And at the end of the day, it's sales, right? It's reservations, it's repeat guests." So what I realized was, all right, let's educate this guy and help him understand the levels. So the first thing that I share with him is there's a couple different ways to market, and you should have them all, but it all comes down to what you're actually capable of doing. But there's two buckets, right? You want to market to new customers and you want to market to existing customers. Very, very simple. Now, what all goes into that? Well, you have to have an understanding of who your guest is inside and out. And if you don't understand your guest inside and out, then we have to start there because the messaging that you're putting out is not going to resonate if you don't know who you're speaking to. So I'll give you a quick example. Working with a client right now, 2-unit location. Their guests are all about the value. They're not so much into the higher ticket items. They want the value. So what we started to think about was, okay, how do we start to bundle promotions, the BOGO deals, the lunch specials that are specifically between certain hours, right? And really started to talk to those individuals specifically because we knew that they were all about the value. They were all about the bundles. So sat down with the owner, mapped out a couple different game plans. We finished and agreed upon one. And then we got into the next step, which was now creating the messaging, the social media posts, the email blasts, the SMS text marketing. Those are all the layers that I'm talking about. But I want you guys to understand that there's levels of the funnel that you want to get your guests coming down into. And that bottom of that funnel is actually when they book the reservation, they pull out their credit card, they buy, and they become raving fans of your restaurant. So Top of the funnel is the awareness. You got to put stuff out there that's going to increase awareness. You got to think of campaigns and initiatives that is going to increase awareness. Whether you love or hate them, influencer marketing is a great awareness campaign because it allows an influencer to come into your restaurant that's vetted, I hope, and showcase the restaurant to their audience. Hopefully you did your homework on that audience to make sure that they are engaged, they're real, and they actually have an interest in following that influencer. And that influencer is bringing those new faces into your building. Those folks that are in the middle of the funnel, they know who you are, but they need a good reason to come in. And this is where you start your marketing campaigns to get them in the front door for the first time. So maybe it's a first time customer offer where for one time only, they're going to get X promotion feature, right? We do free appetizers. We'll do VIP seating. We will make sure that we code that person inside of Open Table so we know that they're a first time guest. So we kind of roll out the red carpet for them and let them really understand the feeling and the vibe and the experience that they're going to have if they come back. That's when you start to get really strategic with what it is that you're marketing as far as your restaurant goes. And then at the bottom of the funnel, those people are sold, they are bought in, they love your restaurant, they want to come back, but they might need that extra nudge. And this is where we use DM automations inside of social media to really push those folks. So we use keywords like wine or reservations or brunch, and we use those keywords to trigger a DM that goes out to that person who puts in that keyword, whether it's in the comments or in the DM, and a message goes out to them automatically, driving them to a brunch reservation or driving them to a dinner reservation or a lunch booking. And you probably heard me talk about this in other episodes, but every piece of content that you put out has to have a purpose. Otherwise, it's just posting to post. And that's not really going to bring in revenue. It's going to turn into burnout. And it's really going to have you scratching your head at the end of the day going, what am I even doing? And so I really want you guys to understand that if you think that posting a pretty video of your restaurant or its food and telling people to book a reservation is marketing, it's not. And that's something that you really have to kind of swallow and take in. That is just one facet of the marketing initiative and the marketing strategy and the marketing effort that you guys are putting in order to get you the results that you're looking for. So what do we do to help restaurants kind of tie all this together? Well, one of the things that we do right out of the gate is before we do anything, we sit down with the restaurant owner and leadership and we figure out what their goals are, what their challenges are, who their guests are, and what makes those guests tick inside and out, right? Then what we do is we take all that information, we decipher it, and we come up with a game plan. We come up with a tone of voice for the restaurant. We come up with a position for the restaurant. We come up with the point of differentiation for that restaurant so that when we do go out into the public, social media, email, SMS, text, we know exactly what to say, how to sound, and how to resonate with that customer. Then after that, we have to come up with the different strategies. So we tie in a couple different strategies all into one structure, if you will. It's not just a one size fits all. It's, okay, what does this restaurant want to accomplish? What are the best channels to use? And then how do we tie all these channels together? That's how we make this work. So for example, if a new follower comes in to our restaurant client's Instagram account, we have an automation that goes out introducing us to them, thanking them, and then guiding them in the right direction, whether it's a reservation, whether it's a link to our menu, whether it's questions about large parties, whatever. We have that conversation going on automatic, building that trust, building that relationship, and guiding them into where they need to go next. We get them on their email list. And now we get to communicate with them via email. From there, we might want to get them onto our SMS text, and we start sending them time-sensitive offers through our SMS text campaigns. So this is how we start to tie all of these marketing strategies, all of these marketing initiatives, and all of this marketing effort into one structured system, and we manage it for you. That's how we've been driving the results for our clients over the last 16 years of doing this. So yes, were we rock stars right out of the gate? No, it took a lot of time, money, effort to get to where we're at today. But we have a great client roster that's doing things that 99% of the restaurant industry is not doing, because we are so far ahead of the curve when it comes to marketing tech and marketing strategy that we're leaving gaps between our competition, because, and I'm talking miles of gaps, because we're so ahead of what's trending, and we're leveraging the tools, we're leveraging the strategies that are actually working. So those are the types of things that I want you guys to understand when it comes to marketing. So when somebody asks you, what are you doing right now for marketing? Well, we have a girl that posts on our social media 3 times a week, or we have a guy that comes in and shoots video with his phone and throws a couple reels together for us. Guys, that is not marketing. Okay? That is not marketing. And I need you guys to understand that more than ever, because why? I want to help you. I don't want to see you spending money. I realize what some of these people are charging, $1,200 a month to do 10 videos for you. But there's no results or metrics tied to what it is that they're doing. And this is why we won't take a client on unless they have the proper metrics set up. And if they don't, we'll set them up for them so we can track and validate what we're doing for them. Right? So that's why we have dashboards inside of social media, and we know how to read them to the client. And if they're not performing well, we figure out how to fix that. If we're driving X amount of growth on social media, we could show them that. If we're bringing in X amount of covers on a slow night, we could show that inside of their reservation platforms that we recommend, right? Because not all reservation platforms are made equal. So those are some of the things that I just want to make aware to you when it comes to marketing. So marketing is a much bigger conversation than having a video guy come in or gal come in and shoot some videos and reels. Having somebody take photos and clean them up in Lightroom and say, oh, we got a whole bunch of marketing photos that we could post on social media. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's the brains behind those ingredients and putting all of that thought together and insight together that I just talked about, and coming up with a way to make it all work. Because all of those pieces of the puzzle need to come together to make that beautiful mural. And if that's not happening, and it feels fragmented and it feels very Frankenstein-y, because maybe you have 3 or 4 or 5 different people all working on it in silos, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. I have to share that with you because it's kind of been on my mind since that conversation I had with that restaurant owner. And I said, you know what? If I don't bring it up on the show, I'm not doing anybody a service. I'm actually doing my audience a disservice by not sharing this. And you might be saying to yourself, I know, Henry, you're not telling me anything I don't know, but how the hell am I going to be able to do all of this when I have 17 other things that I have to do on an hourly basis? Well, that's when you have to start to say to yourself, okay, I can't do this by myself anymore. We are at a point in the business where I have to bring on team members. I have to bring on a trusted advisor to help me and guide me in the right direction. So choose your marketing partner, because I don't like to call myself a marketing agency. I really don't, because we are a very boutique in nature. I want to be mentioned as a partner, because when I come into a client's restaurant and we shake hands and we get going with the work, that restaurant I make it feel like it's my restaurant. And if I'm walking around and I see things that are uneven, I'm walking around fixing that and straightening it out. I treat that restaurant like it's mine. And that's kind of why I feel so strongly about picking and choosing who I work with, because you got to really align in values first if you really want to be a great partner with whoever you team up with for your marketing. And so, I'll ask several kind of deep diving questions, because I don't want to be here 1 month and be gone the next and be like, oh, sorry, didn't work out. We couldn't get along, or our differences are just too strong and we can't work it out. Now, I don't want to do that. It takes too much time, effort, money. It's a waste. There you have it, guys. Just some thought. Think about this and think about where you're at right now with your marketing. And if you need some help, reach out, whether it's a DM on Instagram or you have my email in the show notes. I'm here for you. I'd love to jump on a call with you, see if it's a good fit, see if it's something that I can help you with. And if not, maybe I refer you to somebody else that can. But I definitely want to see you win. I have a strong passion for this industry and what it is when it comes to marketing and branding for restaurants and hospitality brands. And, I want to see everybody win. I really do. When you work with people that you're aligned with, great things happen. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this episode with somebody that you think will get value out of it. I'll catch you on the next episode, guys. Have an amazing day. Talk soon.